Hey Annabelle, I finally get around to taking a video of some of my setup, but my rig's not in my boat, and it's too cold to go outside and put it in my boat. But anyway, so you're going to get part one, which is the rig out of the boat. So this is a bungee that I was trying to tell you about. So I've just got it tied on here with a bowline, and yes, my nails are black, it's from the rugby. And then it goes down under. It's better to go through the sail, I don't know why, Sarah just told me it is, than to go through the fitting or the pulley. Yeah, so I just tie it off onto itself. I untie the bungee at the end of each day if I'm de-rigging, otherwise it doesn't last as long. But the bungee just comes through the loop here and then tie onto itself. Two straps, pretty standard. Oh, my thing's a bit fancy here. I just put a soft shackle on. That's a bit extreme, but most people just have a shackle here and a pulley. But this rope is good for some reason. Oh yeah, do the stretch to have on this end, and then once you get to the point you touch, should be a rope more like this one. So yeah, you either have two shackles on here to have the pulleys, or tie the pulleys around the mast, but they've got to be below the boom. If they're above the boom, the line, the outhaul line will run along the top, on top of the boom, which isn't good. You want this line here to run under the boom. So we've got to make sure when the outhaul goes right off, that I try to make sure that this pulley doesn't get into here, and when it's right on it doesn't max out, or you have this whole system on the other side, so when it's max off it doesn't get near the vang, so it doesn't get caught, and then max on would be down here. So you should have a mast watch as well, so you have to look at your wrist. This here, in the light winds, when you're on the bottom mark and pull your main sheet on, the vang can quite easily fall out like that. It's never actually happened to me, but it can happen. So just a piece of bungee or a hair tie. I'll just get it back in. A hair tie also works perfectly. You put it on the boom and that stops it from bouncing out, and then yeah, you just put it on for each session. All my fancy splicing and stuff, that's just because I get bored. You don't actually need to make all this stuff quite so fancy. Tying it's just fine. The thinner rope you use on your vang, the better it's going to flow. But also, the harder it is on your hands and the quicker it wears out. I have to replace my vang rope like every 2 months, 3 months. This one's like 30 days old at the moment. That's like halfway through its life. I put a handle on here, or you just make a handle doing the laser thing, which I'm sure you figured out how to do now. If not, I will show you this thing where you go through. This bit, and make it like daisy chain. If you haven't, look on YouTube. That's how you should make your loops. But yeah, I like a piece of tube there. Okay. And then that's about it. You see how I do everything though. But my setup's like one of the better ones. Oh, then I put this end through on that, which is where I think I've got your pulley at the moment. But it doesn't really matter. This should pretty much always go down the same side, unless it's really light, then you can put it down the other side of the boom. But the older the sail, the less you do that, so pretty much for the sail you're using, you would always have it down the same side. Yeah, now, I used to have this loop set so that when the outhaul was maxed off in the light winds, it came to here, but now I've set it so maxed off is about there. Just so, because I found that I was always having to reach forward for it. And then I tie the send off onto the centerboard. And another thing I'm not sure you're doing is your outhaul and cunniam, imaginary boat here, once they're threaded through, the knot or the loop, when it's maxed off, should be hitting the cleat, so that you shouldn't have to let it off and then re-cleat it and have like a distance to the knot, so that when you're on the top mark you just like let them go and like forget about them, basically. Yeah, that's lesson one. Part two will be made when I put the rig in the boat and show you some other cool stuff. And those are my super cool telltales. Yeah. tiller tie-in lesson. Yes, I'm on the water. Betsy, say hi, Annabelle. Hi. That's Betsy. Okay, so I think you probably would have been taught this, but the cleat's just for show. You actually use a cleat. So you tie a loop here, go through this bit of cleat, but not actually using the cleat, and then you pull it to get as tight as possible. And I can't do this with one hand. Well, I might be able to actually. Woo! I am quite talented, I can do it. You tie half hitch, but obviously it would be really, really tight because you would have two hands on it. So yeah, basically this should have no wobble, which is why there's lots of plastic stuff, all on my one at home probably as well, in this one, to pack it out, because you want no wobble for when you steer. Okay, that is lesson of tying tiller in. Now I'll show you what I do on my centerboard. I've just untied everything, but I just tie the end of the Vang rope through there, so I can always get to my Vang, which I'm sure you've got. And this is the bungee to hold the centerboard down. I do a weird system, no one else does it this way. I find that if you have something too thick, it can hold these cleats open. If you ever find your outhaul randomly just goes off upwind, it's because this rope here is stuck and it's pulled back on the cleat and pulled it open like that. So I just have a thin bit of rope tied onto a bungee which goes through there, and then tiller's coming out, should we get that back in. So then I go through here and just tie it off basically. It's not really that fancy, I just got a loop and a knot because I can't be bothered tying it each time. So it just goes through and then like that, but just through the hole there. Yeah, so I'm taking a video for a kid at home on how to rig. This is Ian. Say hi, Annabelle.
Then I'm wearing my kill pole.
Yeah, Ian's wearing his kill pole. Safety first around here. Yeah, oh yeah, there you go. Okay, so right, when I'm maxed off outhaul, I can just let it go, and it goes off nicely, yes, because I have set it up well. It goes to the knots, that's maxed off, so you're not too much off. So what you don't want is maxed off and then have like that much left, because then you have to like, you know, re-cleat it. And same with cutting them, more often you think of the light, because most people's mistake is not having this go off far enough, and then you see this crease here on the sail. That's bad. So it's got to come right off so you don't get that crease there. Yeah, I think that's all, because I'm almost at the ramp now. There we go. Okay, say bye, Annabelle. Bye. Bye. Final part. So yeah, what I was saying about the cunningham, most people tie this too far up. So if you're downwind, there's a crease coming out of here, going up like that. Your cunningham's not up far enough. Then the light, you should almost have to go forward and push the sail up. Get enough off. Okay, this here, your boat should already have one. Should help the centerboard stop riding up. I use handlebar grip. Never buy some though, I've got a lifetime supply. This needs replacing every couple of months. This one does need replacing, but I've sold the boat today, so we're not going to be replacing that. Yeah, otherwise it wears out and your centerboard will ride up. Yeah, make sure you've got a proper spring on here so this always stands upright. Now, bang, no one's probably told you this. So this down here, if it's over like 5-8 knots and you're moving, after you pull it open, you actually take this whole thing off, because otherwise you kick it in really easily and the water doesn't go as easy. So in the breeze, take it off and you just tuck it under there and it stays. And then next time you need it, it should be there ready, just flick it out. You see that? Don't know, I'll hold it further away. It just lives under there, or in your life jacket, but most of the fleet just lives under there. What else? The bungee around here needs to be around twice and really tight. Okay, that's way too loose. I probably shouldn't be showing you that. No, wait, Betsy, wait, take a video. Betsy's not very patient, but she's fun. Hey, Betsy.
No, I'm not fun.
Okay, yes. So, and this should be pretty tight. If you don't have the right rope on here, the traveller won't tack very well. This rope, or a fatter version of this rope here that we're using on the Vang, but like 6mm maybe. I don't know, I've got it written on the wall at the watershed. Yes, so these you can just tie on, I showed yesterday, or shackle through those holes, and I've got this tied on as well, the tape just to stop it moving. Oh yeah, you should have a mast tie, but no one really cares. But you have to have them for racing. Yeah, that's about all in the setup of my boat. Yes, my main sheet's on because I was lazy and didn't want to pull up the ramp, so I got it blown up the ramp. Yep. Oh, by the way, if you ever get any new gear, and these are blue and grey and black, the old ones, they don't have ball bearings in them, these two. So if you see old booms and stuff, yeah, and these don't have if they're blue and grey, they're not good, they're the old ones. And always check things like this. This one's actually bad, so I'll show you a good example of a bad one. See how I can wiggle this? Yeah, it means it needs, the rivets need re-riveting, and they need doing quite often. This one's good still, doesn't wiggle. And the other place to look for corrosion is around the bang. Oh, and obviously here. Oh yes, that one's nice and corroded. See that? Yeah, I think that's all in the laser rigging lessons. Okay, bye! Part 4, how to straighten your mast. You may have noticed it's always bent. Big, strong tool. Betsy, this is for a child, that's inappropriate. And so, yeah, and now it is not as bent. They're never quite perfect. They are laser things. Do you have the other outhaul system? I was going to show the other one. No, you got the same one. No, Betsy, shh! Back in your box.
I don't know what system.
Huh?
What other outhaul system?
I don't know.
Mine is different from yours. My purchase is there.
Yeah, yours is. I have the Kiwi one. So the other way of doing outhaul is having all the pictures at the end. But don't look at that actually, because Awa's better anyway. I just kind of wanted to show you the other way. But Awa's better.